What's going on, race fans? Jason Turner back in the Accelerated Graphics Studios, here with my co-host, my partner in crime, Mr. Kyle Painter. Kyle, what's up, bro?
What's up?
How you doing, man?
Doing good, man.
Good. It's good to have you. Good to see you, man. It's been a while. We've had a break.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Yeah.
Kind of weird.
Well, sort of vacation-y, and then just rain and weather, and just all kinds of stuff. But we are back.
We are back, and it's really good. It feels good to be back. We've finally got us a race in. We kind of avoided the rain. The rain was crazy.
Praise the Lord.
They say rain is a good thing, but then when you try to have some racing, it just doesn't work.
That's right.
Man, I got to take a minute and talk about that for a second, because you get so many people that get so angry when we ran a race out. And I just wanted to kind of clear the air about this. I did this, we did this a little bit on the radio with the Maverick radio station. Scott Hendren, he's a later night DJ. He's got a show on there that's really cool. You should listen to that. Anybody who wants to listen to MaverickRadioNC.com, check them out. Really cool. They got a lot of cool shows where they actually play different genres or different timelines of country music. It's really interesting to hear and see the history.
What's your go-to timeline as far as country music goes?
I mean, obviously when I grew up, so like the early '90s. So I remember riding in my mom's.
Kenny Chesney, Alan Jackson.
Yeah, that's where I was going with it. My mom, she drove like a 1993 Toyota Camry, like the old blue ones with the black bumpers, and she had all of her Kenny Chesney tapes, like the double-sided tapes, in between the two front seats, and she would say, "I got all the Kenny Chesney albums," and she would just listen to one after another. She'd pull them out, flip them over, bam, and that kind of ages me a little bit, but that's okay.
So which direction did you go with that? Are you a Kenny Chesney fan, or now when Kenny Chesney comes on, are you like, oh, can we listen to something else?
No, it's really cool, because I associate music with a time in my life. It's weird. I don't know if many people think this way or not, but I can sit there and listen to a specific song. It doesn't matter what genre of music it is. It could be country, it could be hip hop, it could be whatever. It could be heavy metal, it could be whatever. It doesn't matter. And I can attribute that song or that band to a time in my life, and I remember what I was doing in that time. It's kind of weird. You ever heard it?
I think sound is your second biggest. They say smell. I think smell is your first to trigger a memory or something like that. I think it's smell first and then sound. I might have it backwards.
No. I really think you're right, because, and people are going to think this is weird, but burnt gear oil.
Any gear oil.
No, just saying used, straight up burnt or used gear oil. That smell. And this is just because I'm the son of a racer, and he would either, if I was at a babysitter's house while he was working on the car, or if I was at home and I fell asleep on the couch, it didn't matter. But I remember being picked up and taken to my room, but I never really don't remember doing that, but I remember the smell. I don't remember being picked up and taken to my room, but I remember Dad coming home smelling like gear oil. Right. A lot. Mm-hmm. So it's either if he's parts washing in a vat full of Arsol, or if he's changing lube out on the car before going home or before going to a race. Smells do a lot for you. It's really weird, but that smell is one of those that a lot of people hate, but it is so pungent that I remember that as a kid, smelling that, and that right there, between that, hot race tires, and raw race fuel, do it for me. Like, those smells bring back a lot of memories. It's weird.
And I'll tell you something else that I've noticed, just because my affinity for the bologna burger. If you eat a bologna burger and you can't really smell burnt rubber or race fuel, it doesn't really taste the same to me.
Really?
Like, it's weird, because I'm so used to eating them at the racetrack that whatever, I'm used to smelling that smell while I'm eating them. So if I just make one at the house for myself, I'm like, I don't know, something a little bit off about it.
It's not the same.
Yeah, it's not the same.
So I see where you're going with that one because man, like Friday night I was working in the concession stand. We were like 14 people short at the racetrack. It was I thought we were gonna get just killed, and we actually held our own pretty good. But man, we were cooking that food and sending it out the door just as fast as it was getting cooked. It was awesome. We had a great crowd for Flag Day, and we would send those things out the door with cheese. With I actually had one person ask for chili on it on a bologna burger.
I've seen that.
And I've never seen that or heard that before. But the thing was usually it's cheese or onions or cheese and onions, and so those were good. And a lot of people really like those, and you're right. It doesn't taste the same kind of away from home because I get to take the leftovers home.
Right.
And it's different. Like it doesn't taste the same, but like a Speedway burger, them things are good the next day. Boy, I'm telling you what.
I actually had one Friday night.
Did you?
Yeah, it was so good. Like I'd had the bologna burger and stuff like that, but Randy gets to talking about stuff, what you should eat, and he's like, man, this guy's talking about hamburgers a lot. I'm gonna get me one. That thing was so good.
Them things are amazing, man. They're a cooked 5.3 ounce.
Nice.
So it's like a 6 ounce, but 5.3 cooked, and I guess it fits on the bun perfect.
Which that's a big deal just for people who don't really, I guess, cook a lot. A lot of your like if you get a quarter pounder from McDonald's, that's pre-cooked weight. So when you cook it, it gets a lot lighter. So if it's post-cooked weight, that's a bigger burger, basically.
Yeah, look at that thing. It's awesome.
It's big.
But like circling back around, man. We really don't want to cancel races. We are in the business of providing races and entertainment for families, for friends, for racers. We are in that business, so we have a vested interest in putting on races. So it's something that we don't really want to do is cancel a race. But the reason why we do what we do is because we have a lot of racers that tow up to 2 hours to try to come. Lee Falk Racing, they come all the way from Mooresville. So to tow that long, I would really love to know if I was gonna get to race that night. If they're gonna make if we're gonna make a shot at it or not. But I really think that it's a benefit to the drivers because they don't have to come that far. They don't have to get hotel rooms. They don't have to plan meals ahead of time. They're gonna miss out on a bologna burger, but that'll come with time. We'll get races in eventually, but we had a slow June. It wasn't really that good. Because we only did get that one race in, but we really wanted to, this race had to go off perfectly. The weather had to be perfect. We had a fire truck there with a 95-foot ladder on it, hanging Old Glory from a 95-foot ladder. That had to go off perfect. You had fireworks. You can't do them in the rain.
Right.
So that guy's coming in from out of town. It's kind of nice to know ahead of time if you can cancel and reschedule. That's good for him. We had a World War II military or a World War II veteran. Okay, so we don't want to drag him out of the house or away from his family or whatnot if we don't have to. And then on top of that, you've got military vehicles. We had a helicopter.
Yeah, they did a great job with those. ALCOVETS did a great job with that stuff.
So they deserve a heads up. And the forecast was wild, man. It was changing. It was sunny one day and cloudy the next, or rain, and then no rain, and then 50%, and then 80%, and then 30%. And I'm like, man, it was not what we wanted. But ended up right around. I live in Glen Raven, which is close to the racetrack. It's only like 10 minutes down the road. But
I'm familiar with it.
We
used to work there, by the way, for people on that.
Oh, the mill.
And I worked at the one in Norlina, and I got trained. I did some training at the one up here, so I know exactly where you live. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if there was any horror stories or something.
No.
So we were there, and 9:15 it started, thunder, windows vibrating, and I'm like, okay. So right around 9 o'clock, I'm thinking, okay, we've got 2 races in right now. We would have got 2 races in. And then people would have been running to the cars, running for shelter, getting out of the stands. Obviously, you don't want a lot of, that's another thing, is the safety aspect. You don't want a lot of fans trying to exit the grandstands, It doesn't matter if they're made of wood, aluminum bleachers. It doesn't matter. When they are slippery when
They
wet.
get slick, that's for sure.
So you don't want 2,000 people trying to exit your grandstands when they're wet. So we try to think about everything. People can get hurt, people can get trampled. You never know. So you try to make sure that everybody's got the safest environment possible. And ultimately, right around 9:30, we got some rain. And so I'm thinking, okay, 9:30, and based on the timeline that we ran Friday night, we didn't do fireworks until 10, which means the late model race, if debatable, we could have had an early oil down or something like that, but you wouldn't have even got the late model race in, so we'd have had to make that up anyways. So it's just one of those deals where we made the best call possible as early as possible,
right,
to let everybody know as early as possible that, hey, we're not going to get that in. We're going to try again in 2 weeks. We tried to, we could have done the next week, but we wanted to kind of dodge some other things. Being a big race, wanted as many people to have the opportunity to test and then race as possible. So 2 weeks was a good rescheduled date. It gave us time to actively promote. It gave us time to talk about it on various platforms, and then actually get a chance to reschedule everything with all the extra outside entertainment that we had. And the ALCOVETS, they were grateful. They were awesome. Everything about working with those guys is amazing. So anybody who's interested in ALCOVETS and learning more, go on Facebook and search ALCOVETS. They are awesome people to work with. They're doing a gun raffle right now. I think it's $20 a ticket. They got 20 or 21 guns this year. And I'm trying to get me one of them things, man. I've been buying a ticket every year.
Oh, good luck.
Yeah, well, see, last year they did the drawing on my wedding day.
Okay.
So I was trying to figure out who was winning guns, as I'm, supposed to be walking down this aisle, and I'm like, oh God, what I win? Did I win? Did I not win? That's the things that are on your mind on a day like that. But
right.
Also one of the things I wanted to kind of come out and say was our assistant tech man and record driver Ray Knight was in a pretty bad accident, still in pretty critical condition. So if everybody would say a prayer for Ray Knight, his family, fiance Kathy, she works with us at the racetrack too. So that whole family's sorely missed, and we appreciate everything they've done for the famous 410 Mile, and just say a prayer for them tonight, and just ask for healing soon, and ask for God to watch over his family during this time and in the future, as he's got a long road to recovery. So definitely please remember him, and that's a big ask, but really appreciate Ray. Ray's been a fixture at Ace for the last couple of years, and he really likes what we do, and he likes being a part of it, and we want him to be a part of it for the extended foreseeable future.
Right, and aside from that, he's just one of the nicest people you will ever meet, probably in your entire life. Ray is just a really, really good guy.
The crazy thing is, we just celebrated Flag Day, and we had military vehicles out there, and we had the ALCOVETS out, and a fun fact about Ray is he's a Marine.
Former Marine, yep.
So that was a pretty cool thing to know about him before that. But it's one of those things that obviously you appreciate all the time. But on a day like that, it would have been really special to have him there for something like that, because that was a pretty big deal. And I know he loves racing at Ace Speedway, and to have such a big race, it was just very very
somber.
Yeah, it was just very, very humbling to not have him there. Just such a short span of time, and you can be here one day and gone the next. So definitely pray for Ray. If you weren't there at the Flag Day event, pretty big night. A lot of people in the stands, a lot of happy people. Everybody enjoyed the fireworks. We shut down the entire racetrack. Turned off all the lights. I think we went pitch black except for VIP suites.
Yeah, and that was really cool.
And took a while to get those things lit back up, man. You know, it was one of the things. I think it take about 15 minutes. They, you know, if you've been to the racetrack, you know, fireworks were over, but we still had you know, about a 15-minute cool down period where those things have to get completely cool before they can turn back on.
Right. So. Some of the limited guys were getting nervous.
Yeah, no, they were going to get the race. We'd make sure that would happen, but you know, we'll talk about everything that happened at the track. If you weren't there, this is what you missed. Late model stocks, Bobby Mccarthy just put on a clinic. I know we use that a lot, but man, the dude showed up in, you know, he didn't show up in rare form. You know, he's two-time Cars Tour champion, so he has those accolades for a reason. But he came to Ace and just straight up wore it out. You know, it was something where I thought Dustin Rumley was going to have I thought he had a shot for him, late race caution. I thought it was going to be something, but, you know, watching Bobby, and he's in the restart box, and, you know, he kind of plays it differently every time. You never know when he's going to go, so you just got to be on your toes all the time. So.
Which just comes from him being a veteran. He's not going to restart in the same spot. He's not going to give you that chance to.
Can't be predictable.
That's right.
That's right. So Bobby Mccarthy taking home the big cheese, $8,500. So that was a $7,500 to win purse. He had a $500 pole award. He had a $200 halfway award and a $300 most laps led award. Those were brought to you by RNS Race Cars. We had Larry Walker and Sons Body Shop on board. We had ALCOVETS on board. We had Junction on 70 presented the pole award for us and the outside pole award. So that was awesome. And then the Salvation Coffee brought us the halfway bonus and the most laps led bonus. So owner Jim Young, he's a longtime sponsor of several cars at Ace Speedway. And fun fact is, like, he actually sponsored Dad back in the 90s.
That's pretty cool.
With his business Ear Candy. So that was something that I actually didn't know. I knew that Dad had Ear Candy on the car, but I didn't put two and two together until like 2 weeks ago. Because I thought about it for a second there, and I knew there was a business Ear Candy right there, but I didn't, you know, right on South Church Street in Burlington, prime real estate, but it's actually literally right next door to where his coffee shop is now. So really appreciate Junction on 70 and Salvation Coffee stepping up and making the $7,500 to win race that much bigger. Points leader Dustin Rumley finishing out second, Lane Riggs coming in a close third. Blake Stallings and R.D. Smith, those guys, they're always pretty quick at Ace Speedway, but just didn't quite get it done tonight. But Bobby just, he's got good equipment, and he showed up and he practiced early and just had a chance to get the car dialed in. I mean, but he hasn't always dominated like that at Ace Speedway. He's always a factor toward the end of the race. But I mean, I think the last time Cars Tour he finished what, fifth?
He was I don't know. I'd have to look back at it. I'm not.
I think he finished fifth. I think he struggled a little bit, but yeah, and he came to Ace. I can't remember. I don't know. I had to look at it. But then, like the last time he came to Ace, he struggled a little bit. They popped a motor, had to change motors, but he still ran. And so changed motors. I think I don't think he won that race either. I need to go back and look at that, but I don't think he won that race. I need to look at that. That's weird. I can't believe I don't know that.
Yeah, I don't know. I can tell you this though.
It was either Trevor or Dustin this year.
The last time I saw a field that was, I guess you could call it that stacked or whatever, and somebody dominated, was when Ty Gibbs came down here and just put on a show. That car was so fast. That's the last time I've seen a race like that where somebody dominated a stacked field. But that being said, even though Bobby Mccarthy had the best car out there, the race for second, oh my goodness.
Like, still tight.
R.D. Smith and Lane Riggs put on an absolute show racing each other. And I can't remember where R.D. eventually got past. But those two raced so hard and so basically clean as you can race on at Ace. And that was just really fun to watch, even though, the leader was out there pretty good.
I think, and I think the fun fact here is the top four had spec engines in this race. So, I mean, it may even be the top five. I don't know. I think RD's on Harrington. But those guys, they get I think it's a weight break for that engine combination. So, Dustin Rumley, Lane Riggs finishing second and third respectively to a hard charge in Bobby McCarthy. Big time late model race, had some late race cautions, and those are always fun to watch because we double stack. We double them up on restarts, so
right.
You never know what's going to happen. And I mean, even at the end of the race, we still had we started 16 cars, and we still had a good amount of cars left at the end of the race. That's another big thing because I think Trevor Ward, it sounded like he lost some. He hit a valve lash back out of it. It sounded like a rocker arm back off.
It was something mechanical in the motor, but before that, he was really fast. I thought him and Bobby McCarthy, because he had the outside pole, Trevor did.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be, tit for tat, but then he came in with maybe the first 5 laps, within the first 5 laps.
I was still in the flag stand at that point. I think it was like lap 3 to 5.
Yeah.
And rocker arm backed off, and I was like, good.
He's having one of those seasons where if it's not bad luck, it's no luck at all.
Well, I don't know. I mean, he's got some.
But he does have some
good finishes.
I mean, yeah, it's tough to see some of those mechanical issues.
Yeah. So then after the lights kick back on and we run our limited late model race, points leader Dylan Harville wins again with a second place J.R. Good and a third place Chase Murphy. Man, I watched that race. We were cleaning up in the VIP suites, closing everything down for that race, and telling everybody thanks for coming. And we watched the race with them and got to talk with the people from Larry Walker's body shop, Larry Walker and Son. Those guys are awesome. We know a lot of those people from back in the day at Darrell Allen Body Shop. Really good people, good folks over there. So if you're ever needing a body shop to repair your vehicles, give Larry Walker and Sons Body Shop a chance out of High Point, North Carolina. They do all insurance work. Give them a call today. You can look them up on a Google search and find out how to get your car repaired today.
Look at that smooth transition into a commercial.
Segue. Anyways, Chase Murphy, man, he had to earn that third spot. Like, I watched him, and he had to fight hard for that one because, I mean, from a first lap caution all the way to passing, it's like a go-kart move where coming off the corner, even if you're not even at the car in front of you's bumper, you still kind of come inside. You still kind of stick that nose inside and run that inside groove. You're kind of protecting it from the person behind you, but you're trying to get in that guy in front of you's head to say, okay, I'm going to fill that corner. I'm going to fill that hole right there, so you better leave it open because I'm coming. And I seen that move about 2 or 3 times. That was something else. And then you got Colonel Brandon Sharp over here, calling him Colonel because he's owner of HB Game Farm, raising up some roosters. So he's the Colonel. Colonel Brandon Sharp finishing 4th. Colby Fogelman rounding out the top 5. Colby, he's one that had some really bad luck in the last few races. So good to see him get a good top 5. Limited late models, just putting on a good show. Several cautions, but definitely one to watch at Ace Speedway. Definitely a good source of entertainment for them.
You're gonna get 2 sets of fireworks because there was the fireworks and then the limiteds ran, and there was some real fireworks on the track. And on pit road, we did tell them. We did tell them.
Fireworks on and off the track, and we were able to deliver.
That's right.
So Ace Speedway fans, we really appreciate you, and that was correct advertising, so we really appreciate that. Thank you to all the limited late model drivers for showing up and competing. We had some new drivers in the limited late models.
Good to see them too.
Yeah, it was good to see those guys. Eddie Slagle, man, that was pretty cool to see. So we definitely appreciate Eddie coming back to Ace Speedway this is the first time in this year, but he's been there in years past. It's been what?
He's run there before.
It was early 2020. Before the shutdowns started happening, Eddie came down and ran a few races. 2 or 3 races he ran with us. So we had a lot of limiteds that year. That was really awesome. Starting 20 cars. Oh man, that was great. Mini stock. Your points leader Michael Tucker is now 5 in a row. 5 wins in a row for Michael Tucker. Mike Herron got him some good luck, finishing 2nd. Miles Tucker 3rd place. So that provided the proverbial Tucker sandwich that Herron talked about on the front stretch. That was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny.
So Chuck Wall finishing 4th, and Michael Wells coming back to Ace Speedway for the first time since 2019.
So let me ask you a question. Are we ready to make an outlaw poster? and put up a bounty.
Oh, absolutely. So, Michael Tucker, I'm coming for you, man. We're gunning for you. Michael Tucker now has a bounty on his head. $100 for the first week. $50 a week after that for every week that Michael Tucker wins another race. So somebody's got to come pull these things out of the woods, get them fixed, and come stink up the show. Come get Michael Tucker, make him earn this thing. He's the points leader for a reason. He wins a lot of races, not only at Ace, but, I talked with Ray Chandler today. He came by and got his car touched up after him, and I think it was Isaac and Chuck got into it. Isaac was I think he was the recipient of a record too, Friday night. And so we were over here talking about, got his car fixed up, got his car stickered back up, and just, Isaac, he's a really fast learning kid. And, he knew that he made a mistake, and, he didn't mean to get into Chuck Wall, and we just kind of, I just kind of heard them out. And, Isaac's a smart kid. So he's third place in the points. He's going places, and I really think that he's going to be a good fixture in the mini stock division for years to come. But I think we were talking about it. If you can win at Ace, you can pretty much win anywhere. So, Michael Tucker definitely winning at Ace a lot. I know he's been to Dillon. Mike Herron went to Dillon. I think Mike Herron won at Dillon this year. I think he did.
Yeah,
I think he did. I think I remember seeing it on Facebook. So definitely a lot of Ace Speedway drivers. And that's not to discredit any other racetrack. It's just, Ace is one of those places with tighter corners than most, and the corners don't kind of, you don't have to just crack the wheel a little bit and just hang on, sweeping through some of these other corners. But there's other tracks that I can't wait to go to. So we're excited to have those guys here at Ace Speedway racing in the mini stock division. Ace Speedway is the mini stock capital of the world for that reason. We've got just as many mini stocks as anybody I could think of, and these guys just put on a show week in and week out. So really appreciate that. Michael Tucker taking home the $700 inflated purse for that race, courtesy of ALCOVETS. And the Flag Day 115 event, the extreme races. We have a new points leader. Little bro, Bryson Myers, man.
Finally is going to get some decals.
Finally going to get him some decals, courtesy of Accelerated Graphics. I had to make him earn them. We talked about it all season long. And I got tired of Randy saying, Jason Turner, we need to get some decals on this car. So we had to make him earn it. And he did just that Friday night. So, little bro taking home the trophy of the hardware. Luke Travis, a new driver in the division, coming home second. Brian Hatch, he's got to find a way to hang out with these youngsters. His wife even wants to buy a car and race. So, she says she's going to stink him up and take home some hardware. So, I think that's going to be cool. I think, Brian Hatch, you got to do something, buddy. You got to get your wife a car and see. That might be a battle I don't think I'd want. I don't know, man. I might not want to be. She might not have a car for a reason. He might not want to hear that at home.
Is there a possible way to win that? Think about it. Do you really want to,
I don't know. I don't think so.
Because if you win, you can't brag.
Yeah, well, you could.
I don't know that
that's one of those things. It's one of those things you can say whatever you want as long as you say with all due respect.
It would depend on the spouse.
Oh man, and then modifieds. Points leader Gary Causey coming in first. Gary Young Jr. back at the track second. Todd Massey finally breaking his win streak. If you look back a couple podcasts, we talked about Todd Massey. Every time he showed up at the racetrack, it was a checker flag. Instant checker flag. So this is the first time. This is his fifth race.
Today's episode of the Ace Speedway Recap is brought to you by Big B Coffee. Big B Coffee exists to love people. That purpose is at the heart of how we roast our coffee beans, the endless customization we offer, and how Big B baristas craft our specialty beverages. We love what we do, and we hope that it shows. Big B Coffee is easy to love. We don't think you should need to work at loving your coffee. Our smooth and mellow blends are approachable roasting style, are as friendly as our baristas. Whether you're looking for a double shot of espresso straight up, a big bold cup of French roast, or a relatively sweet teddy bear latte, our coffee will surprise and delight newcomers and coffee veterans alike. Located at 1429 University Drive, Burlington, Open 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. on Sundays.
And we're back, race fans. We really appreciate that break, courtesy of Big B Coffee on University Drive in Burlington. Big B Coffee, you can check them out today. They're actually selling franchises like hotcakes right now, or should we say selling franchises like coffee?
Like lattes.
Lattes. They're selling a latte of franchises. So get with them on, I think it's bigbfranchising.com. Check them out, bigbfranchising.com. Or just check them out here on University Drive in Burlington. I'm aware that there is a second Alamance location coming up in the near future. So it'll actually be here close to the Accelerated Graphics Studios, right down the road on Highway 87 if everything goes to plan. Can't let the cat out of the bag too much, but that's kind of...
The rumor, that's the hearsay right now.
Yeah, or if I'm not supposed to say that at all, oops, sorry guys. Back to the modifieds, man. They only get one tire a race, so I've raced that tire breakdown at the limited late model level, and it's not really as fun as buying two because you can kind of control your stagger a little bit better. You can buy tires based on what your measurements were for something at the end of the race last week, so you know kind of where something might go. You know how your tire growth might happen. I don't know. I just know that two tires makes for better racing, and I think it's harder to throw one tire at something. But the modified guys here at Ace Speedway, they do it well, and so that could have been one of Todd Massey's things. Maybe they had some uncontrolled stagger,
right, and
just got beat.
Yeah.
So but Todd's a veteran, man, and he knows how to handle those kind of situations. I've been in bad situations, I've been in good situations, and I've been in situations where this is funny, but like my first third place finish, Dad comes over the radio, he's like, "You did a good job, but you didn't win," and I'm like, "Gee, thanks." And he says, "So you're going to get out of the car and you're going to say that you're going to do better next time," and I'm like, "Appreciate it, Coach." You know what I mean? I've had so many instances where that's happened, and he's like, "Why aren't you getting in the gas sooner?" He's over sitting in turn 2 with a radio. I'm like, "Dad, like I'm talking about on the patio outside turn 2. He's wanting to look at the car and see what's going through the corner like." And I said, "Dad, it's loose. I can't get to the throttle that quick. I gotta wait a second, get the car a little straighter." And he's like, "Show me loose." Okay, so next time I go into turn 1, and I got the wheel cut a little bit, and I just stamp on the throttle and whoa, spin it right out. Okay. Roy Cook coming in 4th, and Mr. Modified himself, Brad Allen, rounding out the top 5. Mr. Modified, we're going to call him Mr. Modified because he's just earned that title, man. Him and Gary Young Jr. used to battle it out like it was just nobody's business, man. Like those guys, when you came to the racetrack back in the day, it was Brad Allen and it was Gary Young Jr., and you didn't know which one was going to win, but it was like Hatfields and McCoys. It was like, North versus South. It was whatever. It was Brad Allen versus Gary Young Jr., and them guys never disappointed any race, week in, week out. So race fans, if you haven't made it to the track, if you want to follow the results and the points of the 2021 season and beyond, you can visit us at acespeedway.net/results and points, or just go to acespeedway.net and click the More tab, drop down, click on results and points for more information. Follow your favorite drivers, or just come to the racetrack and cheer them on in person. July 9th, we got a really big race coming up as I drop my script. Blooper moment. So, anyways, so we talked about ALCOVETS.
Yeah.
Those guys are awesome.
Top notch.
Those guys, they sold more tickets to the gun raffle this year at Ace Speedway than they have at any other function that I'm aware of. They said they were really happy about that. They were really close to their goal. Sold a lot of T-shirts, created a lot of awareness. They had a cooker and some tents down behind the VIP suites, some seats where they could sign up some new members. I think they signed up 2 or 3 new members.
Nice.
to the ALCOVETS organization. They're a nonprofit, I believe, and they're creating awareness because of the suicide rate amongst our veterans, and they're trying to let everybody know that, hey, you guys are not alone. And I think that's part of their tagline is 12,000 strong. There's a lot of people out there that they think they're alone and they're not. And if you think you're alone, check out ALCOVETS. They're doing a lot of big things. They got a lot of good things in the future that they've started. Really cool stuff. I don't know if I can talk about it or not yet because I don't know how far along in their plans they are. But we had a good meeting, a couple months back, and they were kind of discussing some of the plans that they were working with, and they were really happy to, continue to partner with Ace Speedway. It was awesome, man. They had some really cool fireworks. So if you guys haven't seen the fireworks at Ace Speedway, I think Kyle's got a little video for us that we're gonna show here through the show. So we'll let you guys watch some fireworks. And man, July 9th, ground pounders.
And there should be plenty of them.
Are you ready?
I'm always ready.
I think I just got off the phone with Mac Tatum before we came in the studio, and he's expecting a big field. So I think that'll be a cool thing. We'll be ready to see what happens. I don't know how the tire situation's affected them. Definitely a shortage, but these guys still seem to find ways to get some tires and get to the racetrack, and they make it work, man. These guys, they don't give up for nothing. When you show up at the racetrack and you see Southern ground pounders in the pits, you're in for it. It's a good treat.
Yeah, I don't think any class of cars elicits more emotion from people than just because these ground pounders are so unique. There's no one that's the same as the other one, and I think people just have a big reaction to them.
I like the vintage aspect.
Yeah.
The old school feel that you get. It kind of takes you back to, your younger days or your very younger days.
But part of it is we never got to see a 57 Chevy, race,
Right.
and this is your opportunity to see that type of car on the racetrack. Like we never saw Ray Hendrick race, but we can see Ray Hendrick type cars race,
Absolutely. And it's really cool to see that those cars are still around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they could be filling up a junkyard or a scrapyard right now and just be rusting away. But these people have actually been able to preserve and protect these cars long enough to take them to the track and tear them up.
And it's also a great way to get some different fans in, because I know a lot of people, they're like, I don't like racing because it's not a real car. But then they'll see those cars and be like, well, I like that because that's like a real body on a race car.
Oh yeah. I actually speak to some fans that they actually tell me that that's the only time they come to the track because they follow the ground pounders.
Yeah.
So it's just like somebody that follows the Cars Tour. They go to any track that the Cars Tour is at, and that's what they do. They go watch Cars Tour racing. Same thing here. These people they just eat, sleep, and breathe Southern ground pounders. So we really appreciate them coming. They'll be back later on in the season for the Rodney Cook Classic. So that'll be a big thing. Another big thing, twin 20s for the mini stocks. So mini stocks get 2 chances. So somebody's going to get 2 chances at a bounty. So, could it be Mike Herron getting out of that Tucker sandwich? Could it be, Isaac Chandler get his first shot? Could it be Michael Wells coming back? Who could it be? We don't know. So you got to come back July 9th to find out, to see who's going to knock off Mr. Mini Stock.
Mr. Perfect right now.
Well, he didn't win the very first one.
Did he not?
No,
Okay.
He did not win the very first Mini Stock race, but he's won every one since then, so he might as well have won them all, but can't take that away. Can't take that away from somebody else. Twin 40s for the limited. So we got two limited late model races coming on next Friday night. So that'll be a big deal. Twin limiteds, these guys get two tires, 2 chances to come get some hardware from Accelerated Graphics. So we'll see how these guys do. Also on the field for the night is Extremes, Modifieds, late model stocks have the have the night off due to the tire situation. We're trying to wait that out as long as we can and try to see see when that's going to come around from our guys at Hoosier, see when the tires are going to be built back up in inventory It was supposed to be something that we were supposed to see some relief in July, and now I think it's sent
Almost
back
July.
to late July, August, I think, before we'll see some relief. So
Yeah, that was actually part of my day today, was running around getting some tires for some folks.
I have seen that, and I've had other people start calling, needing tires, needing scuff tires, needing new tires, and I mean, it's one of them things where we can't do it unless they're racing at the track, and it stinks because you want to. I mean, we don't make a ton of money off tires, but you want to help everybody out. You want to sell tires to somebody if they need them, because they might come to the racetrack.
Yeah.
So they might need some for practice, or they might need something to mock up on before a qualifying run, or they might need to set up at the shop with something. That's similar to what they're going to get at the racetrack. So they want to make sure they got good stuff. They want to make sure their car's right. But it's just one of the things we just can't help out on right now, and it's one of those we're kind of all in the same boat together. Yeah. And man, so I think July 9th will be a big night. Don't want to miss it. Gates open at 6. Races start at 8. Adult admission is still $15. Kids 6 to 12, they're still $5. Not changed. So I don't think kids have ever been more than $5 on a regular season A Speedway event. Ever. Like as far as since 2017.
I can't recall one.
I think at one time pre 2017, I think they were like $7. Don't really talk about that much because I don't know. It's one of those things. I talked about it with Dad one time. Pretty cool story. He didn't really remember a lot of who the promoters were, who owned the track at what time. Like I remember, he remembers Fred and Jim Turner, and remembers Leon Setzer, and remembers Johnny Fogelman, and all of those people that ran the track at different times. But he doesn't really remember, who was. Who owned the track at what time. I mean, there was, David Morton owned the track for a long time. Big time Burlington businessman, great supporter of A Speedway even to now. He didn't really pay attention to who owned the track when, or who was promoting, or who was announcing, or who was cooking the hamburgers. He didn't really pay attention to that because all his laser focus was on the race car. So, it's kind of, I see where he's coming from because, when I raced there, I started racing in 2008, and I draw a blank on a lot of that stuff. The only thing I really know of is like when I started my racing career was the same time that Tyler Williams was starting to cut his teeth as an announcer at A Speedway. So that was kind of the thing where really you really don't know a lot of that stuff. You don't know what goes into the racing.
When you're racing, you're racing. Like it's hard to focus on anything other than your car that day.
Yeah, you don't know. You know the little stuff like beer on the back stretch, families on the front stretch. You know where turn 4 is and where the checker flag is going to get thrown from. So you know what you got to do in the last lap. But you don't really pay attention to things like ticket prices or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a bunch of like car store races where I've been helping Craig, and somebody will ask me a question, what happened with such and such? I was like, I have no idea, but I can tell you where Craig Moore was at when that caution came out.
Yeah,
but I don't know who did what. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I really think we really appreciate the kids. We had a fun night at Kids Night. We got some big things coming up in the hopper for them later on in the season. Can't let the cat out of the bag yet. So for more information, everybody follow us on Facebook. www.facebook.com/official Ace Speedway is the handle. You can also find out more on www.acespeedway.net. Like us on, it's everything. Twitter.
Against the Twitter, Facegram.
Into Twitter, Facegram, TikTok, all of that. So
TikToks.
TikTok is one of those things that I'm still new at, man. I don't get it. It's one of those things I got to try to like figure out. I think the racetrack page only follows like 3 things, but one of them is the Arkansas Bushman. Have you seen that? It is hilarious. So this dude is dressed up in a bush costume and sits inside a really big brown flower basket or something, flower pot. People walk by and he just so it's kind of like I don't know how to describe it, but I've fallen into the TikTok trap, and I'm trying to get myself out of it.
It's just sort of a prank
Yeah,
prank channel.
Just a prank channel. He's got like 1.2 million followers, and I'm like, good God, how do people do that? Yeah,
So to me, it just reminds me of Vine. Like, you remember Vine back in the day?
Not really.
It's pretty much the exact same thing as Vine,
Really?
except it's now called TikTok, and it's way more popular than Vine ever was.
Yeah. I think I remember something about
I think Vine was like a 12-second video. I think you can stretch it a little further on TikTok.
Gotcha.
But not much, I don't think.
I don't know. We're actually going to work on I'm going to start working on how to like make a TikTok video for the racetrack. So I'll be working on that. They always see me on my phone anyway, so they know I'm doing something.
Make Jason do all the challenges.
Oh man, let's not do that, guys. Please. So for now, race fans, I'm Jason Turner.
I'm Kyle Painter.
And we really appreciate you guys watching the Ace Speedway Recap.